Courtney, and this is my sister-in-law, Stephanie. Recently, I made a video about her and some of the stuff she's going through and how I have created a GoFundMe page for her. So we are going to do a little bit of an interview to help you get to know her better. We are doing it like this because she lives in Texas and I live in Illinois. So this is Stephanie. I'm going to just ask her some questions and she's going to answer them, and yeah. You want to say hi?
Hi.
So I am not actually going to be giving a lot of my opinion in this video at all. It's going to be strictly interview based. I personally already know all this information and we have talked about it, so if I do seem like I don't know, I'm not saying much, that's why, because I really want her to have the chance to tell her story and things like that. So let's start off with telling everyone just what is PTSD and who can get it.
Okay, so I basically took what I have to say about this from the National Institute of Mental Health website. They have some fantastic resources there, so check it out if you need to.
I will link it down below.
PTSD is an anxiety disorder that some people get after seeing or living through a dangerous event. People who have PTSD may still feel stressed or frightened even when they're no longer in danger. For me, this means that when I'm doing something like watching Game of Thrones or something on TV, or sitting down with my friends, and it gets noisy, my conscious mind is focused on whatever is happening, but my instincts have been trained to perceive danger in a variety of situations, and they're always looking for like the slightest hint that I should watch myself, you know? Loud debate, pretend violence even, or when things do actually get a little bit of edge, like sometimes happens between friends, you know, friendly arguments, I start feeling as if a real fight could break out with real punches being thrown or worse, because that's the sort of situation that I was raised in. I was raised in a more violent, sort of chaotic environment. So my body feels this way. The adrenaline starts pumping, you know, I subconsciously get ready for a fight, even though I'm not going to be in a fight, you know? Even though I'm safe now, my body basically remembers when it was not and prepares to defend itself against some of the horrible things that I remember. And then the next part of it is who can get PTSD, which is anyone at any age. I got it when I was 11. The people who can get it include war veterans and survivors of physical or sexual assault, abuse, accidents, disasters, and many other serious events. And some people also get PTSD if someone they love and care about or are really close to go through any of those things, or experience the sudden death of a family member can also cause someone to have PTSD.
So is this something that you'll always have, or is it something that can go away with treatment?
It's something that I will always have, but it is not something that has to always be active. It's kind of like something that can go into remission. Like, you have periods where you have a healthy mental state, or you can. But there are certainly periods where it is more difficult because of certain things that have triggered you. And for me, right now, I'm in a really sort of depressive spiral and have been for the last 3 years. But before that, I had, you know, several years where I was great. And I want to get back towards that and even better.
Okay, so if you don't mind sharing with everyone, what caused your PTSD?
Okay, so there's a sort of more graphic version, which I know you're going to link to, but the sort of short of it is my dad is a former airborne ranger who was discharged under questionable circumstances and later spent some time in prison for stealing a gun. He intended to shoot his first wife, my older sister's mother. He was really abusive, and my mom slowly kind of degraded her, you know, mental capacity over time because of it. Basically wrote turns out he's a pretty savvy con man with no remorse for what he does.
I can actually, from meeting him the one time, I can see that, because when I met him, I had no idea any of this happened. And I was like, he's a good guy, he seems decent, so
everyone always
I agree.
Up front.
Yeah.
So it's just like once you get to know him, everyone's like, oh, this guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
Basically, there are just countless big and small abuses throughout my childhood, some of which are touched on in the blog entry that'll be linked. But I didn't get PTSD until he raped me. My parents didn't split up for good until a few years later, and though I stayed with my mom, her taste in men didn't really improve, and eventually I was kind of disowned and kicked out at 15, and it's been an even longer road since then. To kind of sum it all up, basically, I feel like my dad's kind of a monster, and my mom is just crazy, and both of them kind of like to come back into my life occasionally and just fuck things up like some storm passing through. The reason I am the way I am right now is because I finally came to that realization recently, and I just couldn't hope and assume that there was going to be anything gained out of further contact with either of them. I had wanted to try and rebuild family connections, but I basically came to understand that it's just not healthy for me. I also talked to my dad about what he did to me, and he basically admitted everything but penetration, and then made additional comments that made it clear he still saw me in a sexual way, and my illusions of safety basically had just crumbled all over again, and it's basically since then that I've had this sort of triggered state over the last 3 years or so where I've just really been trying to get better, because it's been since then, since everything got really bad again. I had actually had my PTSD under control for several years, and I just want to fix myself and live happily with my husband and have a normal life without feeling like my parents crippled me, and left me like roadkill, The most frustrating thing is it feels like when I'm sick, they're winning, and I just feel like there's no way in hell I can let that happen, and I want to do something, and I'm coming to this point in my life where I realize I can't do it on my own.
So, I am going to link below that post that Stephanie wrote about a year ago about her experience and what happened to her, but she also does have a Facebook page that I will link below, so if you want to talk to her about any of your experiences, or if you have any questions or anything like that, you can reach her there, and yeah, she will talk you through whatever you want to hear about. So we are going to move right on to the next question. Over the last couple of years, your PTSD has made your quality of life go down quite a bit, and I know it's been a struggle for you. So I was just wondering how exactly the PTSD has changed your lives, and in what way has your life changed because of it?
Okay, so I feel like my quality of life is just crap for what it could be. I just can't make it on my own right now. I have to ask for help to get better. There's so many things that I can't do just on my own. I get really overwhelmed and stressed with the PTSD itself even. So I don't want to be a burden. That's pretty much my biggest fear in life, and I want to be a blessing to others. I've always wanted to do good things. So my anxiety affects all of that. It affects my health, my weight. It's just something that I can't bear on my own. I feel like it's like existing as a struggle. Things like preparing to go out of my house become such a big deal that it takes up a lot of energy, and right now I go out twice a week on average, once to the doctor and once to visit a group of friends for game night. I went from being like a socially active, involved in my community woman, with a full-time job, and, making it with my husband and stuff, and now it's like I can't even watch, the shows that I'm into without thinking about whether or not I can handle the emotional stress of whatever I might see. And it feels really ridiculous to have to tell my friends and my family, that I can't catch up on The Walking Dead or something because I literally can't handle it right now. So it really affects my life in a variety of different ways that most people don't think about. They think about panic attacks, the night terrors. I have all of that, but it affects just everything in my life.
After all the work you are putting in to get better, who do you see yourself being in the future when you are at a healthier state?
Well, after I get Damsel trained up enough to pass her public access test, I'm really, really interested in going to college. I've actually been accepted into 3 great schools over the years that each time that happened, I ended up not being in a position to fight the fact that my parents kind of held the keys to my financial aid. So now I'm finally old enough and married, so I count as my own person, and that's something that I can pursue as soon as I can actually handle something like a schedule and the workload that would come along with going to school. But that's really something that I'm excited about. I love philosophy, religions, writing, literature, art. I love psychology, oddly enough, and I'd like to help other people.
You would probably be a great psychologist.
My counselor says that. I just feel like it's too late in my life to start thinking about.
No, it is not. It is not.
Like 10 years. I just want to help other people who have kind of had to struggle like I have, because I know that there's millions of people, billions of people out there who've had a hard time, and I want to do something for that.
Yeah.
Most of the things that I want to do are related to helping people or writing. So, in like a real sense, though, the fondest sort of hope I have is just really simple. I just want to be well enough, educated enough, financially stable enough to adopt. As a child, all I wanted was a family, and as an adult, I still feel the same way. And so a lot of my drive is just hoping that one day I'll be okay enough that I feel like I could really be there for a kid who, needs someone, like I could be. I just feel like someday when I'm the woman I'm meant to be, I'll be able to be a kick-ass mom for someone who needs it.
I love that part. Seriously, every time I hear it, I get like, that's so sweet. And I do think you'll be an awesome mom.
Thank you. I get nervous about it.
So the last question I'm going to ask you today is, do you have any advice for someone that is struggling with PTSD or anyone that has a loved one struggling with PTSD?
One of the things about PTSD is that it's really hard for people with PTSD to realize that they have a problem. So being honest with yourself is kind of the most important step, because every change that you make is inner strength. No one can do it for you. However, there are a lot of great ways to help people who are having trouble. I really suggest finding a counselor or a therapist that specializes in post-traumatic stress disorder.
I almost knocked you down, sorry.
I've seen tons of counselors in my life. My mom is kind of a hypochondriac, so I grew up with them, and the one I'm seeing right now was specifically recommended to me by a really good friend who also has PTSD and had seen this woman before, and she's absolutely fantastic. So I really just suggest finding someone who helps you be better, and that may take going through a couple of doctors, to find the right one. When I first started my journey, I was completely against the idea of taking medication, or at least I really wanted to spend the first year at least just doing things on my own that I could change, because there's a lot of sort of environmental changes you can make that can help you trigger less. There's just so many resources out there, and I really do suggest going to like the website for it. that I linked you before, Britt, because they talk about a lot of the good stuff. There's tons of great stuff, and probably the most important one I should be mentioning for this video is the service dog, because that's the one that I need to be highlighting at the moment.
So is there any other comments you want to leave us with before you go?
Yeah, I really want to take the time to thank Brittany for doing this for me. It's really an overwhelming thing for me to even think about taking on. So I really appreciate this.
Of course, I love you.
I love you too. And for everyone who spent minutes of their life watching this, I do really appreciate the time that you took to listen to me. It's not something I'm really used to, so I do appreciate it. And I want to kind of say that if you're struggling with mental health issues, there's just a number of resources out there for you, so don't lose hope. I've definitely been there myself, and I'm coming back on the up end, and if you feel like you need to chat or something, feel free to reach out to me on the Facebook page, and then eventually I'm sure Brittany is going to get me into making more YouTube videos, because
that's the goal.
That's the goal.
Okay, so that's all for this video right now. Hopefully Steph is going to make a few of her own videos. I will link the PTSD website down below. I will link the Service Dog website down below. I'll link her GoFundMe, her Facebook. All of that will be down below, so make sure you check it out, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks for watching.